Well, welcome back. So today, let's just pretend that our system died. So whatever we did, maybe we changed the permissions to the home user to be so that our login couldn't read it and it can't read our authorized keys. Whatever we did, doesn't matter. It happens to all of us, especially in learning. I'd much rather you break your systems here in class than in once you graduate and are working. So we celebrate successes here in class. So all we have to do is come here. We say actions, instance state. We're going to terminate the instance. Yes, we want to terminate it, and it's going to go away. Okay, it takes a while. It's going to stay here. If you're logged into it, I don't have my. Let's open up command window. So I'm not logged in. If I was logged in, it would kick me out. Okay, so we're going to launch a new instance. We know how to do this already. So I'll just click through it really quick. As quick as I can. Review and launch. Launch. And I have the key. Launch instance. Okay. So saw it was pretty quick. We have the old one dying. We have the new one that is being birthed. And so this right here, you can see is pending. Oh, I'm going to click this so we can actually see both of them. We can see that this one right here is terminated and this one is pending. So if I click here, once again, I can get the public IP address. It might be ready already. We'll find out. So I'm just going to click the up arrow so I can get to my prior command. I'm just going to change this to the new IP address. Remember, if you put your key in the right area, you don't need this. It's just SSH EC2 user at your IP address. Okay, but if you put it in a different area, you need that. So we're going to hit enter, and it looks like it might not. Oh, not quite ready yet. So if we come back here, we can refresh this. We can see that it's still. It says it thinks it's running now. So let's try again. They do take just a little bit to start up. I mean, you probably take a little while to get up in the morning too. So, but this is being birthed. So if you see, once again, it's the IP's changed and it's even a new system. So I'm going to accept it. Yes. Permanently add it and I'm in. Sweet. So I'm into my system. Cool. So today, hopefully I'm going to include some resources at the top of the YouTube video. Engineering Man, awesome channel. I suggest that you review some of that content. Going to talk about link to his video about the Linux hierarchy or Linux file system. Wikipedia talking about the Linux hierarchy, and then the Linux kernel, understanding a little bit of the Linux kernel from IBM. Great resources. I want to introduce you to other stuff because honestly, I don't know it all. And may as well leverage some people's stuff that's better than me. So with those, maybe you should pause the video and look at them. With those, let's actually start to play with commands to understand things, okay? So pwd prints the working directory. So if you see that when I've logged in, I'm in home EC2 user, which that's the user that I logged into up here. Okay, so EC2 user. So I'm in EC2 user's home directory. That can be changed, but that's the default, and so that's cool. So we're going to go to the root of the file system. So I just cd'd to the root, and I can do an ls here, list the contents. I can do an ls of /home let's just do home, because home is right underneath here, but home is also at the root. So I can do an ls of /home. Okay, cool, EC2 user. So I'm going to cd into home, which changed the directory, which once I'm in home, if I try an ls, I'll see EC2 user, but I can't do an ls of home because it doesn't exist here. It's up a directory. So I can do ls ... /home. That works because the ... takes me up the directory. Or I also know that it's at /home, okay? Which, if I look pwd, I'm in home, so I can do ls of ec2-user, but I can also do an ls of ... /home, because that's the one I'm in, ec2-user. And I can also do an ls of the root home, ec2-user, okay? So these two are relative, and this is more absolute. Okay, this tells me start at the slash of this directory. I mean of this system. Okay, granted you can do some things to fake that, but that's good for you to understand. Okay, so let's go into EC2 users home directory. And if we do an ls here, I see there's nothing. Wow. ls-l, still nothing. You know what? Let's just do an ls-a. Wow, stuff appeared. A says show me even the things that are hidden, which in Linux just have a dot before. ls-l is long and A is hidden. We can combine those together and it shows me the in long. So this is what it showed before, but now it shows long form and the hidden files. I actually like to use it in order of time and reverse time. By the way, I'm just hitting the up arrow. And I like to see it in human readable. This probably won't change anything because these are such small numbers, but human readable changes the size of things. So it shows it in megabytes, gigabytes, that type of thing. So clear. There's a lot of things you're going to have to get familiar with. And please stop the video, pause the video, whatever, and look some of these up in other ways to get more in depth. I'm going to be very, I'm not going to be that depth in each of these. I'm introducing you to them. I expect that you play with them to get the depth. Okay. So talking about one of the ways that we can play with it is man or learn. So if we man ls, we can see the list of the directory contents. And if you see here, -a, that's what I used, does not ignore entries that start with dot. And we can hit spacebar and it goes down to the next page. We can see that we used H, human readable, and with L it'll print the sizes in human readable format. We also used time and reverse. So T, but there's lots of option here. T, sort modifications by time. Did I pass R? Anyway, so I can scroll up to, right, here's R, reverse order while sorting, okay? So all of them are in here. And at the very bottom, some of these, this one doesn't, but at the very bottom, some of these have examples, okay? So, okay. So let's do this. Let's do an ls-ltrah, and we're going to display it to the screen first, but now let's redirect that output to myfile.txt, okay? It didn't show. Well, that's because if we concatenate, which basically shows it to the screen, myfile.txt, there's what it put it into there. We could do that command again, but change it. Instead of sending it to the file, we can send it and append, which means put it at the bottom. So two of it puts it at the bottom. And now if we cat my file, it's going to be in there twice, okay? And we can actually, so if I hit the up arrow again, and I'm just going to do this a couple times, okay? So now if we cat my file, it's going to scroll all the way off the page, okay? So sometimes, let's see, sometimes, let's just clear this. Sometimes instead of using like cat and showing it all, we want to view it just one screen at a time. So there's more my file, and that will show us one page at a time, and it'll tell us how much is left. If I hit the space bar, it'll continue to the next page, and space bar, and it shows me the rest, and that I'm done. Well, that's great, but what about if I wanted to navigate up and down? Now this is going to get tricky. So we're going to type in less myfile.txt, and now I can use keys to go up and down. Okay, I'm using the J and K. This is Linux VI commands. So I'm going to hit Q to quit. And we're going to learn about those more later on, okay? How to use VI. But these are all a lot of commands, and I want you to understand and dig deeper. So remember to use the manual to understand these. So we did more, which is a file preservation filter for CRT viewing. That doesn't make much sense. Description, a filter for paging through text one screen at a time. That makes more sense. So sometimes you need to look a little bit. So name, description, and once again, if we scroll all the way to the bottom, I'm scrolling with my mouse, but I can also hit the tab, the space bar. Sometimes there are examples. There's not. But this says see also less in VI. So I'm in a man less. And less is the opposite of more. So if you see, it's similar to more, but allows some other movement. And it talks about editors like VI. Okay? So I'm going to Q to get out of that. So we've learned listing commands, we've learned changing directory, printing working directory, cat, man, less, a lot. So, and clear. So let's clear it again. Let's show you how to understand where things are. So which clear. Which will tell me which is the one that's I'm grabbing, okay? Because there might be more than one. So I could locate clear. This won't work. So I need to sudo updatedb. So that sudo is switch user and do. And updatedb sets up the database for this. So I'm going to locate clear again. And we can see here are the things that it finds that has clear. And if we know which clear, it's actually using this one by default. Now there's some other things here. It just so happens that all these others are kind of, looks like mostly supporting demand pages and stuff. But, and of other commands, if there were multiple clear commands on your system, which tells you which one it's going to grab first, okay? So we did which, locate, oh, there's also find. Find dot, and we're going to pipe grep clear. And I don't see anything. But if I come back to the root, let's just do find. Find says find here. I'm going to do find from the root. And you can see here that it had some permissions denied because I don't have the permission to do things. But it did find user bin clear here. So there's lots of different ways to do different things in Linux, and you need to get familiar with the commands so that you have options as to what you can do. So we've done which, locate, find. Let's do a little. So if we look here, ls, we have myfile.txt. If we do ls-a, we have some hidden files here, and these we'll learn about later in the semester. But let's do a loop, because hopefully you've all done a little bit of programming. I'm just going to do a for a in, and we're going to do these backticks, ls, and we're going to do -a. So we should get all those, and I'm going to do just echo $a. Oop, I forgot done. For what you do a in ls-a do echo a sleep 5 done. So we learned sleep as well, so we're doing a for loop, and it's going to go through and it's going to grab each one of these, sleep 5 seconds, and then hit the next one, sleep 5 seconds, then hit the next one. Well, I don't have access to my cursor, so I'm going to Control Z this to stop it, and I can see jobs. See that's running. I'm going to background 1, and this is just going to keep it going in the background, but the sleep is all it was doing, so it's going to say done when I hit enter. Okay. So there are a lot of things you just learned, and we've learned man, so we could man jobs and see what it's doing. Okay. Besides Control Z, there's also Control C to cancel out. So there's lots of options here. We've talked about sending stuff to a file. We've appended stuff to a file. We've done more and less. I think that's good enough. So for today. So I've introduced you to quite a few commands. I've shown you how to understand a little bit with man. Of course, there's Uncle Google you can use all the time as well. And there's some resources I'd like you to look at. So I hope this helps you down your Linux learning journey. Thank you.